question for you all. When is the last time somebody asked you to come over and grab a beer, or let's go have a beer? Was it yesterday or the day before? How about last weekend? How do you think I got all these people here? Beer. Today, I'm here to talk to you about beer, the origins of beer, and how to select a beer for yourself. So if you've ever walked through the beer aisle at a grocery store, you can see right here there are many different packagings, brands, types of beer. It can be a little overwhelming if you don't know anything about beer. So if we look at the origin of beer and a little bit of the history, making a selection will be a lot easier. So let's start with the origin of beer. Beer can be traced back 10,000 to 15,000 years ago, when man stopped his nomadic ways and began farming and cultivating land. So we don't know exactly where or why beer was brewed, but we may know how. Many people believe that a bowl of barley was left out and consequently got wet, thus starting the process of fermentation. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I would be the first one taste testing that brew. So, as with anything, the process of brewing evolved over time. It went from grain and water simply in a bowl left to ferment, to crumbling loaves of bread into water and adding juices from horehound or dandelion or mint for flavoring. Beer quickly became a staple to the lives of a lot of people. It was once so valued that it was used as payment for workers. So the Egyptians, they enjoyed 20 varieties of beer. And it was still unrefined and rough. So they had to drink with straws. They drank the beer with straws to avoid the grain holes left in the beverage that was left unrefined. So the Egyptians weren't the only ones to enjoy the intoxicating brew. There are many cultures, like the Japanese, who used rice to make sake, and African cultures that used maize, millet, and cassava to make beer. So now that we know a little bit about the origin of beer and the world history, we'll look at the evolution of the United States. Beer came to the United States via those ships from England with the pilgrims and seamen that landed here in the United States. It was always around. And quickly, the cultures in the colonies began to erect breweries and taverns for everyone to enjoy their beers. So, according to the American Breweries 2 by Dan P. Van Warren, in 1846, Maine became the first state to vote for prohibition, which was making alcohol illegal. And many states soon followed suit, and by 1916, most states had prohibition where drinking alcohol was legal. But in 1933, there was a ratification to the 21st Amendment that repealed the 18th Amendment, thus legalizing alcohol. Ever since that day on December 5th, 1933, alcohol has been legal, and the consumption and the production has skyrocketed. Today in the United States, there are more than 1,000 breweries. So now that we know about the origin and the history of world history and in the United States, we'll look at the differences in beer. Beer can be categorized in two different groups. There are ales, which is this one right here, and lagers. The difference between the two, according to beertutor.com, are the hops used to ferment the beer, the temperature and time, and the flavorings that were added. So, and then another difference between beers is the light versus dark. Light beer, like this one right here, is lighter in color and less in calories, which can help you choose between two different beers. The light color. And this is the lager. And then this is the ale, which is a little bit darker. And then here we have a dark beer. The differences between light and dark, like I said before, are the color and then also the calories. Light beer has less calories, and also the density. Dark beer is a little more dense than light beer, so it's more filling. Some suggestions: light beer is used if you're going to have more than one. If you're going to have more than one, it has less alcohol content, and then darker beer has more alcohol content. So your choice in beer is really on personal preference, and I suggest that for everybody over 21, the best thing to do, now that you know a little bit about it, is to try different ones and then find what you like.